Whew. Oh boy. You guys were really against my take on the Thing's altered voice. I forgot there's a biased Marvel fanbase that believes the MCU can do nothing wrong. Thankfully, I'm not alone and there's a decent amount of people who agrees with me. I appreciate both the likes and dislikes. Here in this video I'm going to discuss why I made the Thing's voice change and respond to some of the criticism that was directed towards my video. So let's talk about it. The video was made in response to the recent Fantastic Four First Steps teaser trailer. I thought the trailer was pretty decent. I like the retro science vibe it's got going for itself. Reminds me of the Jetsons cartoon mixed with Jack Kirby's art design. However, there were only 3 issues that took me out of the trailer. First one was Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I'm sorry guys, I tried to give it a chance and keep an open mind, but Pedro is just plain Pedro. I still see the Corona guy, I still see every other casual role Pedro Pascal has played in the past, and this is no different. He doesn't sound nor come off like Reed Richards. He looks more like a variant of Doctor Strange or Tony Stark's dad. I blame the mustache, of course. The second issue. There were some shots of Johnny Storm flying around as the Human Torch. Some shots felt like it was ripped off of Chris Evans' Johnny Storm flying scenes. Mainly when Johnny is flying away from Doctor Doom's missile from the first movie, and the Silver Surfer chase scene in the second movie. It was a little bizarre and gave me some deja vu. Not in a good way. Just felt like the CGI artist just copy and pasted these scenes. And then there's the third and final issue. The elephant in the room. The reason why this video is made in the first place. Ben Grimm's voice. When I first heard it, I thought it was a production mistake, but so many have said that this was the Thing's actual voice going into the movie. I genuinely didn't like it, so I decided to take matters into my own hands and alter the voice into my liking and show what I thought the voice should have sounded like in the first place. Despite the criticism, I do stand by my initial take and really think Ben Grimm's voice should be deeper, because of these 3 reasons. 1. The Thing should have rock organs. 2. The Thing's massive size. 3. The execution of its clobbering time. One of the criticisms towards my previous Thing video was that Ben Grimm's voice should be normal because only his skin was altered, not his organs. My counter-argument is just to simply look at the origin of the Fantastic Four and every member's altered abilities. The 4 were all hit with the same cosmic wave. And as a result, Reed Richards can stretch, which means his internal organs can stretch, meaning Reed's organs were affected by the cosmic wave. Sue Storm can turn invisible. Her entire body goes invisible, meaning Sue's organs were affected by the cosmic wave as well. Johnny Storm can turn his body into flames, and in comic books, movies, and cartoon shows, when Johnny speaks, you can clearly see inside of his mouth is also part of his fire form. Therefore, Johnny's organs were affected by the cosmic waves. So how the fuck does Ben Grimm, who was affected by the same cosmic wave, get only his skin altered and not his organs? That doesn't make sense. The 2005 Fantastic Four movie actually got this right and showed what the Thing's organs looked like as a result of the cosmic wave. And before you use, well, the Thing's organs were never altered in the comics argument, prepare to be amazed. Here's a specific comic book example that shows the Thing's organs were altered. In Fantastic Four 1993, issue number 374, Wolverine sliced the fuck out of Thing's face, exposing a part of Ben Grimm's facial anatomy. And what do you know? Ben's facial muscles also look like his rock form. So why are we going in the direction where all the other members of the Fantastic Four have abilities that alter their entire physical anatomy while Ben Grimm's skin is the only thing that changed? The Thing is supposed to be the only Fantastic Four member who has the worst transformation and has to deal with it. Something akin to a human being stricken with a physical disability or deformity. His humanity comes from his eyes and his actions as a superhero. When I think of Ben Grimm, aka the Thing from the Fantastic Four, I think of a man turned into a monster, so it makes sense for him to sound like a monster. Now, comic books do change over time. There are instances where character designs, origin stories, and powers have either evolved or regressed based on writers these companies choose to hire at the time. However, there are writers who respect the lore and character history, so some details remain unchanged. And there is another comic book where the Thing gets his rock form shattered and a part of his anatomy is exposed. In Fantastic Four 2018, issue 13, the Hulk breaks the Thing's face with a punch. Ben Grimm's face is revealed to have less of a rock form muscly face and more of an enlarged facial structure. So even decades later, despite this version not having a rocky muscle form, Ben Grimm's organs are still altered and enlarged as a result of the cosmic wave. Which brings me to my second defense. The Thing's massive size. Now the Thing's size isn't really consistent, as some comic book artists draw him bigger while others draw him smaller, but what was always apparent was that the Thing was big enough to stand out in a crowd. He was always the largest member of the Fantastic Four. Plus, Ben Grimm's altered size made him a compatible opponent to battle against large Marvel characters, such as the Hulk, Juggernaut, Colossus, and Venom. When Ben Grimm was in his normal form, his size would be comparable to a professional football linebacker or lineman. He was bigger than the average human, but not big enough to take on the Hulk. It's also very apparent in every adapted version of the Fantastic Four that Ben Grimm's physique grows as a result of his transformation from the cosmic wave. Ben's size has doubled when you see him in his rock form. Now, to tie it in with the Thing's voice, many people like to use this if this were real scenario for comic book characters far too often. And as much as I try to avoid using this way of debating, in this case, I'll make an exception. In the real world, there are human beings who like to alter their physique. For example, bodybuilders, actors, and professional athletes take performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs for short. One of the side effects is a change in their voice. Look at wrestler Jordynne Grace, for example. Jordynne went from sounding like this,
I wish you guys nothing but the best,
to this.
Sunday through, I think, Friday.
If you want to find more examples, I'm 100% sure it's out there on the internet. Point being, if in the real world where people's voices change during instances where their body is altered, why can't the same be said for Ben Grimm's? Now let's take it to a fictional in-universe approach. How come when the Hulk transforms, his voice gets deeper? The Hulk is just as monstrous looking as the Thing. I mean, we've already seen what the Hulk sounds like with a normal voice.
Hulk smash! Puny god.
Nobody does.
No, he wants you.
I
He
don't want a
wants to take a picture with them.
And you're telling me that voice sounds good? To wrap this up, because I've already spent too much time making my point, the iconic It's Clobbering Time line sounds more badass with a deeper voice,
No, Vic, it's clobbering time.
rather than a normal voice. And I do have my doubts with this version of the Thing, who sounds like this,
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
will execute that line properly. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and Marvel knows exactly what to do with their movie. It's not like the MCU has let us down before, right? Right?
It's clobbering time!
It's catchy, right?